Hi there! Today I'll be showing you some of the watercolor techniques using the Artist watercolor paper. So my watercolor paper is a rough grain Artist watercolor paper in water, rag. Some of the key brushes are sable brushes and also nylon brushes. That depends on what you like. I like these. So that's my usual palette here, and I have an extra palette here just in case if I need to use a clean area like that, I can mix my colors here. Okay, so let's get started. So as you can see, my line drawing is already done. I am about to start coloring the background. What I am planning to do is to use the warm color around the top and then gradually go cooler towards the bottom. There are some flowers, apple, artichoke, and banana. I'll be pre-mixing some of these warm colors and cool colors. The cool colors I can actually go slightly grayer because they are mainly the shadow colors, but the warm colors I'll be probably mixing here or there, or maybe using both. Let's get started. The important thing is that you mix a lot. More than what you need is actually good. Okay, I'll be making the surface slightly wet using this brush. Just go over lightly with water. Okay. Something like that is actually okay. I'll be starting around here very lightly, even going into the flowers, like that. I'm changing the colors time to time. This is intentional. I like these colors to change in the background, so they're not super solid. I mean, I'm looking for a nice solid tone, but it's not really. The color is kind of creating a nice gradation, which is something I'm going for here. So the bottom is getting slightly dry, so I'm wetting it again, just a little bit. Okay, so now let it sit for a while. Paper is buckling up just a little bit, but that's gonna even out, hopefully, because it's a watercolor block. Okay, so right now it's not completely dry, but I am going ahead and paint some of the local colors for the flowers, apple, artichoke, and the banana. So the local colors are not quite all finished, but you get a good idea on where I'm going for. So I'll be letting the paint to sit for a little while, let it dry, and then I'll continue on deepening some of the tones, mainly trying to define some of the light and shadow definitions. Okay, so now I'm painting the flowers. I am not going to complete them. I am not going to finish everything, but I'll try to define the shapes and colors a little bit more. What's so great about the watercolor painting is that there is a softness, between colors. Say, in this background, this area is kind of yellowish, and then gradually going green, and then going towards a little blue. And then the same thing is happening in this, the flowers. There's yellow, orange, red, and green. They're all happening there without having without having no crisp edges. So what I'll be doing is to define some of the shapes, including light and shadows and colors, but over defining everything is not going to be good. So I'll be retaining some of the softness of the color transition and defining the shapes and the tones a little bit more. It's hard to find a balance between the softness and the crispness, but you have to experiment and see what you can do with that, okay? Let's just go with the feel. Let's do it. You can see that I applied gradation here. Okay, so now I'm painting objects below. Like before, I am going to retain the softness and then try defining the light and shadow definitions plus the logo tones. Okay, so it's not completely finished, but you can see what's happening here, you know, in terms of light and shadow, local colors. Let's zoom out and take a look at the entire thing. Okay, so that's as much as I have so far. What I could be doing is, of course, I have to detail them a little bit more, and I could be giving another layer on the background because now it's kind of looking light. It looks kind of pale. That's because I have a little more contrast on flowers and also the objects in foreground. So what I could be doing is to give another layer on this background, you know, another wash to it. So I can give a little more sense of coloration. And I'll be using tissue to wipe some of the areas where I want the sparkles, mainly on the glass vase. Okay, and I'll let it sit for a while. Okay, so that dried up nicely. What's so great about this second layer of wash is that some of these hard edges, they become softer because what I'm doing is that I'm doing this wash over some of these areas. So that creates, you know, softer mood in my painting, which is always nice. So I am about to start painting more details on the flowers and more details in the foreground objects. Okay, so now I'm about to start adding a little more detail to my work. I can start here with the flowers and then I can move down. Now you can see that I have a lot of soft edges. Say for example the apple here, there's no distinct separation between the foam shadow and the cast shadow. I would like to retain some of the lost and found effect. Lost and found techniques can be used when you do not want over-pronounced shapes, you know, like areas like that, areas like that, even areas like that. I would like to have some of these areas in a mist, and then some of these areas clarified, and then I would like to blend them together to create a nice soft mood to my painting. Okay, so let me just go ahead and start painting the flowers. Okay, so now it's looking pretty good. So let's just move down to the vase and the objects. So the areas like this and that, I'm intentionally leaving them underdefined. I'm keeping them soft. There's no clear separation between the foam shadow and the cast shadow, which is okay. They're looking good already, so just gonna leave them as they are. And I am moving forward to the banana. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So let's take a look at the entire thing. As you look at the entire thing, you can see that I have created a nice color harmony. The coloration is pretty warm, except for the shadow tones. Shadow tones, I kept them cool. That would be a nice accent. And then when you look at the areas like this or that, you can see that color gradually changes from one side to the other side. This is one of the things that is unique for the watercolor painting. You can create a nice soft transition of the tones. Let's take a look at the flowers. I have made the surrounding areas a little bit softer than the inner area. The color is actually a nice blend of the actual flower color and the background tone. That's happening around here, there, even there too. So when you do a watercolor painting, try finding a nice balance between the soft areas and the defined areas. And then you should be able to make a nice painting out of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.